And we're back here on Inside the Ropes. We are just 24 hours away from the strangest WrestleMania of all time. And we have one of the headliners on the phone, pulled in the favour, had the incriminating photos, said I'd use them if he didn't talk to us. It's Edge! How are you?
Yeah, and the incriminating photos are me pile driving donuts into my face in Dublin, Ireland. That's really what the incriminating photo is.
It's a very PG era that we're in now. That's where the incrimination comes from. This is a weird place to be in the world, a weird place to be. You're back, but it's all very strange. First of all, how you feeling? I know you've just been to down there, and WrestleMania is kind of in the can. How are you feeling now that everything's kind of taken care of, and you've got some time to kind of think about it all?
I feel, I guess, strange, like everyone does at this point. It's just adapting to this new normal that is anything but normal, right? So in terms of emotions, I think probably like everyone, just weirded out and scared and what is going on, but we'll get through it. And you look for the positives and you try and pull the positives because they're always there. Sometimes it's just there's a whole bunch of crap piled on top and you have to shuffle it away. So in terms of like a WrestleMania, my first singles match back in 9 years, is it ideal to do it without an audience during a pandemic? No. But and I say but, you have to try and pull the positives here. The positives are there's a loyal fan base that will be able to forget about everything, hopefully, for 6 hours this weekend. And if you want to watch the Edge documentary Sunday night, 7 hours. There's a cheap plug. But that's all you can do, right? So now coming back post, I'm sore. My body's just kind of going, wow, dude. So we're doing this again, huh? And I think that's where my body is right now. But I think Randy and I, under the circumstances, I'd like to think that we have been able to craft a story that started before all of this worldwide events. And we tried to take it with everything that was happening and adapt to it. And I think we did. I think within our promos, I almost feels like without an audience, it added to it in a strange way, because our story was so personal and there was so much reality and so many truths within it that sometimes you get that loud audience and you don't catch all of those little nuances. You don't catch all of those little things. So now it felt like the opportunity was there to really dive into some of those things because everyone's going to be paying attention. They're not going to be, chanting something or whatever it is and enjoying live, which is what you want them to do. But this just it gave an opportunity to go somewhere else with it. For me, that was really fun. It was a great challenge, and I looked at it in trying to like dip into the acting chops that I've picked up over the last 9 years in being on sets and shadowing directors and working with all of these different actors and then picking their brain and saying, okay, so this scene went this way. What was your mindset for taking it this way? And here's my mindset for taking it that way. And it was a fun exploration to do and use some of those things I learned within the context of wrestling.
What's interesting is when the big angle happened the night after the Royal Rumble with you and Randy Orton. Like, I don't think that people immediately were going to place that if you came back, it would be you and Randy Orton. But when you guys did that angle, a lot of people were saying it felt like a WrestleMania angle, and not a lot of stuff today feels like that. What do you think it is about you and Randy working together that it's brought him into maybe the best work of his career? You've come back and it's clicked straight away. Like, what do you think it is about you and him that's just made all the pieces fit together so well?
I knew there'd be people who go like, "What?" But they've worked a lot, but I just knew with our history, with our chemistry. Sometimes with people, you have that thing. whether you want to look at it in musical terms, Joe Perry and Steven Tyler, Slash and Axel, Kurt and Dave, John and Paul. Sometimes it's just there, man. And it always has been with Randy and I. And I think people, for whatever reason, understand that, and they can feel it and they can see it. So from the first time we wrestled for the Intercontinental title, it was there. Then we start teaming, it was there. There's a reason that people still talk about Rated RKO, 13, 14 years after we teamed, for like 6 months. Think about that. Like, there's just something intangible there. I knew he was the guy that I needed to start back with. Absolutely. Because in my mind, when Randy is motivated, when he has something he can sink his teeth into, there's none better. And I knew with me coming back and with how I look at things and with his natural, just ability, I knew what we could do. Now, you think that, but when you hear people screaming after he RKO'd me, that's when I knew, okay, it was the right call. It was absolutely the right call. And when your instincts are proven right, it feels really good, but you don't know that's going to be the case 100%. I'd like to think a lot of times I'm 95%, but there's always that 5% wiggle room. Also within this storyline, there is so much history. There's so much truth. And I do think we are seeing the best Randy Orton, because we're seeing him at a stage in life where he has matured, where he has grown into, and I think finally accepted how good he is. And that's a game changer as well.
And well, there's also this weird part where when you were obviously off, and he did the angle with Matt Hardy, and that was so great. And then there was this weird thing where when Beth was coming back on TV, the fan in you kind of goes, I mean, the Randy Orton character's got to RKO her, right? Like, he's got to. But then you go, well, they wouldn't do that. Like, that's not going to happen. And then it happens, and it's all fit together in a way that you can imagine someone in 10 years remembering this story. Rumble to Mania. It's got that edge to it already, I think.
Well, what I really enjoy about it is that all the answers weren't given to you on the night. So why would Beth come back and put herself in harm's way? Well, you find out after the fact she was actually coming back to retire for me again. Mm-hmm. She just never got the chance. So because she never got the chance and he did what he did, well, you just pulled Edge back. That's all there is to it. You attack the pack, all bets are off. And I can then explain that in a promo going forward, because you'll have those knee-jerk people like, well, why would you send her out there? Blah, 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 blah. Well, pump the brakes. There's a story here. And if it's a good story, it's not all told to you right away. It will come in layers. And that's what I want to try and do in coming back. I want to tell layered, nuanced stories within the world of wrestling. And when that's done, and when it's done right, I will wholeheartedly say that it can be as good as any movie, as good as any TV show, as good as any book. You need the right players, you need the right writer, you need a lot of things to come together. But you can also beforehand go into it and put all of those pieces together and hope, like I said, 95% positive, it will turn out the way you picture it. So far, pandemic aside, this has played out exactly how I visualized it.
One of the other, I guess, elements that I don't know if this is the case, but I'm just kind of curious. Paul Heyman is working behind the scenes in WWE. That's no secret. Everybody knows that. He's working on Raw. How important has Paul Heyman been to this story, to telling this story, because he seems to be a guy who gets nuance and he gets...
We have been left alone.
Wow.
We have been left alone, and that's because I've been doing this for 25 years. Randy's been doing it for 20. Nobody's going to write a promo for me. That's all there is to it. I don't work well that way, and I think everyone understands that. But It took years and years of proving it. So if you try it and you fall flat on your face, well, you might not get that chance again. And but over the years, I was allowed to fall flat on my face a bunch, and we were given the freedom to do that then, which is amazing. Now I don't know how much of that freedom is given to new people coming in. I don't know. I'm not in that situation. I just know the situation I'm in, and I love it because, man, all I do is read, write. I'm always creating in my mind. I read 72 books last year. All I do is think of stories, how they can play out, characters, layers, what drives a character to do this, what drives a character to react that way. When I watch a show, okay, why did that actor make that decision? Why would the script read this way? Those are the questions that are constantly going on in my brain. That's how I try and peel back and dissect things. So in doing that, it feels like it's been training to come back to wrestling, and I really feel like now I have this full arsenal that I didn't necessarily have before. And again, 9 years of reps on television and movie sets has been indispensable, and I get asked, if it's for advice. Now what I say is, once you're trained, get acting classes. Just plain and simple, because it is glaring who can and who can't.
And it's an important part of being, a WWE superstar, I guess, because you're going to tell stories all the time. So it makes sense that would be something that the best would have it. I also want to ask you about the Rumble, obviously, when you came back. When you came back, what was the tipping point of you deciding to come back? And do you have a favourite couple of memories from the day of the Rumble when you think about it now?
I guess the tipping point was through all of those years and doing fight scenes and not having stunt doubles and feeling fine after. I guess the true tipping point was the second neck surgery in 2012, because immediately I felt better. Now immediately feeling better, I'm still told that wrestling is not in the cards, so I had to adapt and emotionally wrap my mind around that. No matter how good I feel, that's still out of play. And so I start acting and enjoy that process. But within that, I'm hired to do physical roles. It wasn't really until I got on Vikings and I was like, okay, I'm doing some pretty physical stuff here and I feel fine. And so, okay, I feel fine, but it's still not in my mind that it's a thing. And it truly wasn't until Sheamus came over to do his workout show, Celtic Warrior workouts. And we did a couple workouts, and the second one, I took him out mountain biking, and I took a pretty gnarly wipeout, and basically took an arm drag at like 20 miles an hour. And I rolled up, and I went, wow, I'm okay. And that was this weird kind of bell or an epiphany, like, wait, that should have hurt a lot. And sure, I had road rash and, I was all cut up and everything. But my neck, my bones, like all of that didn't hurt. And then SummerSlam rolls around and I'm up there to do a 24 documentary and close up my mom's estate. And so SummerSlam and TakeOver on the back end of that, which I thought would be a fun way to spend what was kind of not a fun week. At least on that weekend, it would kind of take my mind off of what I had to do earlier. And in that process, kind of the audible of the spear on Elias. Wasn't planned, wasn't mapped out. People said I was cleared. I wasn't cleared. I just felt it and I did it. And thankfully he's enough of a performer and enough of a pro that he picked up on it and realized what was about to happen. But if you watch it closely, you can see the change in his eyes when he realizes, oh boy, this isn't a promo segment anymore. And, but sometimes you just got to go off your gut. And like I said, I knew at that point, I just knew I could do this again. Nobody else knew though. And again, 95%, there's that 5% wiggle room. I don't know if everybody else is going to clear me for this, but I know I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it became, I'm going to go see some doctors. I got to go see where I'm at, because I never had a checkup since 2012. So that's when the checkups came. How am I for mountain biking? How am I for fight scenes? Oh yeah, by the way, how am I for wrestling? and that's when it all snowballed.
And so, I mean, you it snowballs. You decide you're going to come back. You train to come back, and then you come out at the Rumble, and people just lose their minds. When you came back through the curtain after it, what was going through your mind? There must be so much that was going through your brain after how, because you could see when you came out the emotion for you, that everyone was responding to you so well. It was such a journey to get there. So what, when you were walking back through the curtain, what was going through your mind then?
A massive sense of relief, uh, because I'll use the term again. If I'm usually 95% sure, this time it was much less. I had nerves, and I'm not used to nerves. And I've always said, if there's one place where I know I'm in my comfort zone, I'm in my field of dreams, it's in a wrestling ring. So I was always confident there. This was the one time that there was different things at play this time. 9 years off, a whole new crop of superstars that I haven't touched. This triple fusion. Bigger than anything, I now have the girls. And that to me was really weighing. And that to me was the big thing. It was, I never wrestled with kids before, having had kids. This changes it all. I cannot get hurt. Now, I've been at this point obviously told, and I'm cleared, and I'm cleared by multiple doctors. I've gone through all of these steps, and there's multiple steps. It wasn't just like one doctor, you're good to go. It was a lot of clearance to get through, and I got through all of them. So there's the confidence that comes with that, but it was still a huge sense of relief just to get that under my belt, but at the same time be in that moment while it happened, because it's never going to happen again. That was a one-time occurrence where somebody has come back after 9 years, which I don't know if anybody else ever come back after 9 years, but especially not with my injury. And to come back and do this, I really wanted to sit in the pocket of that. When I came through the curtain, I was still sitting in the pocket of that, but there was relief. And again, it's a cheap plug, but I saw an advanced copy of this documentary they did, and it's one of the 24s. And this started off as a documentary about life after wrestling. That's what this was all about, how I adapted to life after wrestling, how the acting career is going, all of those things. They were filming while all of this was happening. So this documentary covers everything backstage, like everything that happened that no one knows about. It's all in there. The clearances, the ups, the downs, the training to come back, these secretive training sessions, like it is all in there. Everything, getting to the rumble that day after, it's all there. And I saw it, and it really it blew my mind to see it all put into this hour and a half thing. But really, I think it was just a massive sense of relief to have got through it. But then immediately it's like, okay, I'm gonna savor this tonight, but tomorrow we're at Raw, and now we kick this thing off. Now we get it rolling. Now we get into this story with Randy, and now let's go and drop it in fist and just put the gas all the way down.
Well, it's funny because last year I had people over to watch the Royal Rumble, and in the UK it goes on till 4 a.m, and one of the Inside the Ropes crew, Jen, was too loud last year, so I got a noise complaint. So I had like 10 people in the house, right? And I managed to have everybody quiet for 2.5 hours. And it was going so well. And then you came out. And the next day, I had a phone call from like the people who I rent the property from. and they were like, the woman next door has put in an official complaint because she thought that someone had died. The next door. I was like, was that
Or been resurrected.
or been resurrected? I was like, was that 3 a.m.? Yeah, I can guess what that was. But yeah, but yeah, people were going crazy for it. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I've got a last kind of two-parter question. Part one, what can people expect with the Last Man Stand match at WrestleMania? And then the other part, which I guess everybody's kind of wondering, is we know you're back, but what is life for Edge and WWE post WrestleMania when everything kind of gets back to normal? Like, how often are we going to see you? What are the plans? Just give people a teaser of what they can expect.
Well, in terms of Last Man Standing match, I saw a list of our accolades each set side by side, and it really didn't dawn on me until that. Exactly what Randy and I have done during our careers. And to be able to come back at this point in our careers and do this, and not only that, how has there never been an Edge versus Randy Orton match at WrestleMania? Well, now there will be. And it's a strange WrestleMania and all of those things. What I can tell you is that we put our heart and soul into this match. Even with everything that's going on, we knew that we had to do and put everything into this because of how compelling we both felt this story has been. It deserved that, and I feel like we did that. It's going to be a fight. It is going to just be an ugly. We've used this word to death, but a ugly, gritty, dirty fight between two guys with 45 years of experience between them, who strangely, and I think you'll see this, can still go. And I'm really hopeful that people enjoy it. And with him and I mean, all bets are off. There's just no other way to describe it. It's just, I liken it to those other rivalries that you knew you were going to see something special. And, everybody has their rivalries over the years that they just knew it was going to be there. And I'd like to think that when you see, Edge and Orton, that's what you're going to get. Now going forward, I have all kinds of plans. You know me. I'm always going to have a plan. I'm always going to have a vision of where this story can go. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but you know that I have a plan, and I want to continue what I'm doing now. And to me, that is trying to tell really compelling stories. And that's what I want to do. For as long as it lasts, for as long as I'm around, I want to tell compelling stories and at the same time teach and help and leave the industry in a better way than it was when I started, however long ago that was. I'd also like people at the end of whenever this run is to go, shit, I think he might have been better this time. That's the challenge for me. That's my challenge. I'm challenging myself against myself, I guess. I want this. It'll be a different Edge. It will be a different thing, but that doesn't mean it can't be better. And that is really the challenge that I've kind of put in front of myself to try and do, that whenever this is all done, that people may look at it and go, well damn, he just told better stories than he did before.
It's like the Shawn Michaels thing, right? When he came back and did his second run, it wasn't one and done. It was better.
Yeah, and if you can do that, it feels like then you go into a different conversation, and that's really what I want to do. I want to have fun. B, I want to tell stories. C, and this is in no particular order, I really want to help a new generation of talent. And the only way I can truly, truly help, I can give them advice all day long. And I do. You know, if somebody picks my brain, I'm there for them. I hand out my phone number to everybody and say, you know, reach out to me, whatever you got, I'm there. It may take me a bit. I might be, you know, feeding Ruby and reading to Lyric, but I will get to you. The way for me to really, really teach is to be inside the ring with you. And that's how I can show you and the art of listening. That's where I can do that. And that's really, you know, what I need to do on this too, is to look at a good crop of talent and go, okay, if I can get in there with them, I can show them, even though they're doing a lot of great things, I can show them what they can really be. And that is, if I can do that, because people did it for me. There's a whole generation that did it for me. Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Rick Martel, Bad News Brown, all of those guys at some point or other, you know, Terry Funk, Jerry Lawler, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, like I got in there with all of these guys and they were all teachable moments for me. And if I can now give that to a next generation, then that's a huge bonus to this whole thing that we none of us thought we would have.
Well, you know, I mean, we're in this weird space in the world, and I'm not just saying this to suck up to you, but it's true. I mean, to have you back and have a WrestleMania this weekend, it kind of is escapism for people. It's a good thing to have. So I think that's
the goal.
That's the positive to have. But thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. And if I get a bill in for the noise complaint, I'll be billing you to your home.
Fair enough. Okay. Dock me my next tour.
Yeah, we'll just advance it. But yeah, thank you so much, and stay safe.
Good to talk to you, bud.